Hey, hi guys, I'm the Jamal. So let me just present my screen first of all. Uh, so I just created a presentation for today. Okay, I hope everybody is able to see it. Okay, can you see it? Please give me a heads up if at all. Is it
Yes,
visible? Great, great. All right. So the topic will be data to destiny. So let me just introduce myself. So I've been in this industry for around 7 years now. Okay. I have worked with multiple companies. My first company was Amazon. Then I switched to Google for around 3 years. And currently I'm designated as a advanced data scientist, or you can call it senior data scientist at Eastman. Okay. And I have a postgraduate degree from MIT. Previously, I have masters in computer science from Kurukshetra University. And these are some of the recognitions that I hold. Maybe I'm in the process of getting MVP from Microsoft, which is most valuable professional, which is in the processing. Hopefully, I'll get that. But yeah, I mean, these are some of the recognition that I've gotten till now. I've been doing this mentorship for around 3 to 4 years now. Right, it's not something new to me. And like you can see, I am registered on Preplace, TopMate, and also these are the favicons ranking that I've got recently. Okay, I'm pretty active on LinkedIn. I'm pretty active on Instagram. I recently started Instagram also. So I just post about data science, nothing personal. Okay, so that was about me. Yes, so these are again some of the recognition, some of the awards that I've gotten. Just wanted to give the brief introduction about myself. Okay. Now, let's just go to the introduction about today's topic, or maybe we can start with the data science. I know everybody will be, I mean, you know data science by now. You have already learned data analytics. Maybe there are multiple fields. Let's just go into the brief of it, have a brief introduction about data science, and then we can go about it. Okay. Let's just discuss about today's agenda first of all. Okay. So one thing that I want to give as a heads up, we will take questions, although we have very few people today. I mean, but still, I'm pretty sure it's going to be worthwhile. Okay, the things that I'm going to be talking about, if at all we are going to be practical about those tips and tricks, trust me guys, I have helped more than hundreds of people with 10, 15 years of experience before. Okay, who just wanted to transition. They have had very hard time before, but yeah. Okay, sure. All right. So now let's talk about the introduction to data science. Okay. So what is data science? We all know that, right? I have tried to put it in a very simple way here. Like you go to the market, you get the raw lemon, right? And then you clean it, and then you slice it, you extract the juice out of it, and finally make a lemonade out of it, right? It's a very simple explanation of the data science, correct? So basically, I mean, same goes with the data. You just get the raw data, you clean it, whatever you do with the help of pandas, maybe Power BI, and finally you create a report, or finally you create something meaningful out of it, right? So that is what we call the data science, right? And in the, like I have heard this before, like there is something, it's a huge confusion, right? People tend to call data analyst that, hey, I'm in data science, or maybe I am a data scientist. But being a data analyst and a data scientist, these are two different terms. Okay, so data science is a huge umbrella under which you have multiple roles. These are some of the roles, but there are other roles also: database analyst, or you can call maybe BI analyst, right? Multiple roles are there. So what's the difference, right? So data analyst will be someone, maybe you got the data, right? You got the raw data, and then you cleaned it, and you got the insights out of it. Finally, you have to convey that message, what you have found in that data, and how is that going to be helpful. Okay, you have to suggest some. So basically, you are a problem solver when you're working in the real companies, or maybe the product based companies that we are talking about. You're a problem solver. Anybody can come to you with a problem that, hey, there is a sales team, sales manager can come to you that we found out that we are not doing very good in this particular year in the sales. Can you please help us? This is the data. Just go through it and then let us know what is going wrong. Okay, so that is basically what a data analyst will do. And when it comes to the data scientist, just giving you the brief, we will be keeping it to the data analyst only, but just giving you the brief what exactly is the difference. So when it comes to the data scientists, they'll use machine learning, deep learning, NLP, etc., in order to predict something out of the data. Okay. And data engineer is someone who will clean up the data. So basically, a data analyst will get some data from the database, right? All that will be taken care by a data engineer. So they'll be setting up some pipelines in order to clean up the data for the data analyst to use. Okay. And then comes the AI ML engineer, which you have heard about recently. It is generative AI, agentic AI, right? So this is the difference between these four roles. Now, let's come to the data analyst versus data scientist, right? You might have heard a lot of people telling that, hey, if at all you're starting your journey into data science or data analyst or data for that purpose, right? Why do everybody will tell you just start with data analyst? Why is that? Right? Is it mandatory? A lot of people will come to me that, no, I just want to start as a data scientist, right? So the reason for that is when you're starting or when you're beginning your career in the data, already you have a lot of skills here to cover, right? Excel, SQL, Power BI, Python, stats, machine learning. These are the optional, right? That's probably the reason I have added the asterisks on top of it. Okay. But when you're learning these skills, now it's not about learning only, right? You might even understand that also by now maybe you have completed the course already. So you just have to create some projects. You just have to implement that in the real time, right? When you're sitting in the interviews, it's not going to be like, do you know Excel? What is SQL? No, it's going to be like, help me solve these queries, help me with the projects that you have created till now. So it's about lots of things are on your plate right now, so you have to cope up with everything. You just have to learn all those things. But if at all you want to become a data scientist in the very beginning, then you have to cope up with this pressure also. You have to be good. You have, and remember one thing, you have to be a really good data analyst in order to become a data scientist. Okay, you cannot apply machine learning on the raw data, you cannot apply deep learning on the dirty data, right? You just have to be very good with the cleaning data, and then only you can switch to data scientist. So in this case, I'll suggest if at all we are beginning our careers or we just want to transition into data, definitely data analyst will be a good choice. Okay. Now let's move. Right, I've tried to give the very simple example here. Let's say, for example, we are going gym, we are starting like the gym membership, right? We'll not directly go with the hundreds of kgs and then start lifting, right? That's not practical. So what we'll do, we'll start with the small weights first. Okay, when we are good with it, then maybe we can choose our field data. Who knows? You want to do PhD in data science or whatever you want to do later. But at this point of time, data analysis will be the great choice. Okay. Now, okay, what are the data analyst career options, right? I mean, you can literally think of anything, right? And then there's a career option for it as a data analyst, right? The very simple example that I can give of, right? We all know cricket, we all follow cricket, right? There are people who are doing the analysis of the cricket also. Right, maybe okay. There is this person. His like he's not very good with the maybe the bouncer balls or maybe something of that sort or the Yorkers, right? And then they will inform the ballers, hey, this particular batsman, he'll not be good with the Yorkers, just ball Yorkers to him. Okay. So they are doing the data analysis based on how they have performed in the past and then given that insights. Think I'm just giving this example, right? But you can literally have career options in every single field. These are just some of the options here, right? The opportunities are endless. At the end of the day, you should be good enough with analyzing the data. That's it. Okay. All right. So now let's talk about the demand. A lot of people like even come to me that, hey, what is the demand of data analysis with the advent of AI? Is it going down or? But if you see it, these are the genuine kind of the reports or maybe the visuals that I have taken from the Statistica or the other reputed websites. So by 2020, 2031, it is going to be like the jobs are going to increase by 23%, right? Which is huge. And then if you see this Asia Pacific market has 28%, right? Which is particularly covers us. And then like you can think about like the opportunities are gonna only increase because nowadays lots of data is gonna get generated every single day. Okay. We'll talk about how AI is not gonna impact this particular field. So you should not be worried. Okay. We will talk about that for sure. And then if you can see, so this is basically the forecasted how in US billion dollars, okay, USD billion dollars. So by okay, now if we are in 2025, we are only expecting 92 point or 93 billion dollars. So if you see, it's gonna like 5x, 6x, right? It's gonna increase. So definitely there will be opportunities. All right. So we will discuss about the things and we will take the questions. Nothing to worry about. So just wanted to show you how exactly the demand is for data analysis also. All right. So now, what are the data analyst salaries? A pretty interesting question every single time I'll get, right? So these are like some of the terms that I got, or some of like the figures that I've got. These are very subjective. Okay. Again, I'm going to tell you. Let's say, for example, you went into Google as a fresher, or maybe at the Amazon. It's not going to be 6 lakhs. It's going to be about 10 lakhs. Okay. Let's say there's a very good product-based company, OpenAI, or maybe some other company that you're getting into, even as a data analyst, then we are not talking about 15 lakhs. We're talking about 20 lakhs, right? It's very subjective. And let's say you're entering some startup which we just started it, you can be offered 5 lakhs also. Correct? Who knows? But at the same time, when it comes to the salaries, it's not a fixed figure that as a data analyst you'll get 6 lakhs or 10 lakhs. It totally depends on the product-based companies or the service-based companies that you're getting into. And at the same time, it depends on your performance, right? In the interviews. If you have performed well, then obviously you're going to get good salaries. All right, great. Okay, now let's talk about the data analyst core skills. Okay, these are the core skills that you'll require. I'm pretty sure you guys might have gone through it. Okay, so Excel, statistics. When we are talking about statistics, it's obviously not a mean median mode. It is inferential statistics. We are talking about A/B testing. We are talking about maybe hypothesis testing, right? And then coming to the SQL, obviously you'll have to be very, very good with SQL. SQL is the backbone of any data related job out there. Okay. And then coming to Power BI, Tableau, the reason I have put this particular pipeline here, it is basically if you're good enough with Power BI, that's fine. Okay. Tableau is not required, right? It is the same visualization tool that you'll be using. At least one of the tools you should be good with. Okay. When it comes to the Python or R, I will suggest go with Python because it's very easy to use and it's quite, I mean, nowadays it's evolving a lot. All the Gen AI, everything, every stuff that you're talking about, you can do it in Python. So I'll suggest go with Python at this point. Okay, now let's talk about what are the core skills in detail. Okay, so basically, when we are talking about Excel and statistics, these are the topics that you should be focused on. Obviously, we'll talk about it in detail in some time. Okay, but for now, pivot tables in Excel and statistics, you'll be when it comes to Excel, you'll be asked about pivot tables. Okay, how do you develop pivot tables and what are the lookups, X lookup, V lookup, H lookup, those kind of questions will be there. And then the data validation. How do you validate data in Excel? Okay, that's one of the important questions out there. And when it comes to the statistics, hypothesis testing, A/B testing, inferential statistics, right? Those are the questions that you normally will be asked. Okay. When it comes to the SQL, querying and joins, aggregation and functions, filtering and subqueries, or CTEs we talk about, right? And a Power BI also, you'll be asked about data modeling. I'm telling you, we'll talk about this in detail, how exactly you'll have to prepare and all. But just giving you the like it's up what exactly are we going to talk about. Then comes Power Query and DAX. Okay, when it comes to Power BI, guys, be very good with DAX. Okay, because DAX is like I said, SQL is the backbone of data jobs. DAX is the backbone of Power BI. Okay, do not expect that you'll be sitting in the interview for Power BI roles and you're not good with DAX. Okay, DAX is very important. You'll have to be good with. Then comes to the service. What is Power BI service? How do you collaborate? How do you share? Because Power BI desktop will help you develop the reports or whatever the things that you'll be doing in Power BI desktop. But ultimately, when it comes to the real world, you'll have to share those reports, right? You'll have to collaborate on those reports. So for some Power BI service, at least try to understand how exactly it is we use it. Okay, I'll get to know like we will take questions also in some time, but just wanted to tell you that. All right, now coming to the Python, you'll have to be good with basic coding. Okay, do not think you'll need DSA. DSA is not required for data analysis. Okay, it is maybe required for AI ML engineer. Even for the data scientist, I don't think anybody asks DSA out there. Okay, yes, little bit of it when it comes to Google and Amazon, but not much. Okay? And object-oriented programming, it is must. You should be knowing about it. What exactly are the classes, objects, and all. Then coming to the data manipulation, I'm sure you might have heard about EDA, which is exploratory data analysis. How do you explore data, right? Maybe using pandas, NumPy, and there are a few more things like Matplotlib, Seaborn for the data visualization. Those are the libraries that we're talking about here. And finally, automation and scripting. It's optional. If you know it, fine. If not, still it is just Python code that you're running, opening files and then automating stuff. All right. So this was the brief introduction about these things, skills. Okay, now let's come to the job hunt. All right. So see, I have posted it here based on my experience from past 4 years in the mentorship business. Okay. So basically, everybody that will have technical skills, anybody can have technical skills, right? You can even, I mean, while you're learning the technical skills, most of the people tend to think that now that I have technical skills, I will get the job anyway, right? Which is not the case. It does not happen, right? Uh, At least I'll say not even 1% of the people will get job having technical skills only. Why is that, right? The question is, why is that? I mean, if we have the technical skills, why are we not getting jobs? Trust me, guys, I have had people from IITs, IIMs who were not getting the job just because they had learned technical skills. It's not only about that, right? So what is missing? Let's talk about that. All right. Along with technical skills, you'll need portfolio. Okay, portfolio, we're not talking about maybe website you're developing or something. You need at least GitHub where you're uploading the projects and all. Okay, we'll talk about that. And then real world projects. Okay, real world projects, we'll definitely talk about it. And storytelling, ATS resume, you'll need personal brand. Not, I mean, definitely not have to go there and then start publishing posts every single day, but I'll tell you what I mean by it. Okay. And then job search, it has to be practical job search. Okay. Not just applying blindly here and there. I've applied 500 jobs, still not hearing. Definitely we'll talk about it as well. And then finally coming to the interview preparation. Okay. So let's talk about these steps one by one. Okay, now talking about a portfolio. All right. Now, many people might think, why is it necessary? Why do I have to upload some projects on GitHub or maybe somewhere else? Or why do I need even a website for myself? Correct. The reason for that is, see, nowadays, hundreds, thousands of people are going for the data. All right. You open up YouTube video right now. I mean, you will definitely see one of the ads which says that, hey, get into data, you will get 30 lakhs, 40 lakhs of salary, right? It's not, it's very common nowadays, which I feel, right? And then people, while they're seeing these kind of ads, they just hop onto those courses, take those courses, and then definitely, while many of the courses are good, right? I'm not saying courses are not good, but at the same time, you need to set up a portfolio. You need to create some of the projects. And while you have worked on some of the projects in those courses, make sure you're uploading those projects somewhere. Okay. It can be even a Google Drive that you're uploading that. But the best practice should be you upload those projects on GitHub. Okay. Now, if I show you GitHub mine, later we will come to this. All right. So this is my GitHub, right? Why do I need this GitHub? I've been in this industry for around 7 years, right? I might think in that way. Why do I even need this, right? But the moment you will come to this particular profile of mine, it's even helpful for me. I'll put all my projects here, right? Even if I open up it up to you, I have all my projects here. These are some of the machine learning projects. These are some of the learning projects. Okay. The reason you have to set up the portfolio is that people will trust you. Okay. Trust me, guys. We recently had one of the openings in our company, right? While putting it out, we got around 3,000 applications, and most of the people we interviewed were not even able to answer basic questions. They just created a resume somewhere and then applied for the job right away. We were asking about Excel even, like they were not able to answer. Why is that happening, right? Then what we usually will do, right, as recruiters or maybe as managers or even data scientists, will go to their profile, check something, or maybe validate whether they are actually working in data or not, right? Let's say, for example, any of you guys, you just want to hire for a data scientist or you want to see whether the Jammul is working into data or not. By seeing the portfolio only, you will get a gist, right? Maybe you'll not get the complete idea what exactly I do, but you will get some idea that this person is working into data. He has some projects out here. Okay, he is maintaining his GitHub repository. He is posting pretty regularly. So this just gives an idea. Okay. And trust me, when I'm talking about it, I usually get a message on LinkedIn. I'm not reaching out to recruiters. People reach out to me that, hey, we have some of the openings. We have seen some of the projects that you have developed, maybe something here and there. We are looking for someone who can develop those kind of projects, right? So you just see what kind of impact it creates, all right? And you definitely have to put this link in your resume at the end of the day. Okay. So this was one of the things. Let's go back to our presentation. All right. So now, just a second. All right. Yeah. Cool. So this was about the portfolio. I hope you got the clear idea of what we were talking about, right? So you just need a portfolio. You just not a website. I'm talking about GitHub. At least upload the projects on GitHub or somewhere else so that it works as a validation or a proof that you are someone who's working with the data. Okay. Cool. Now let's move to the real world projects. Okay, this is one of the main reasons people get rejected. Okay, when I have interviewed a lots of people, even in Google, even in Eastman, right? When it comes to the people, who are enthusiastic towards data science, people want to transition into data science, but what they like tend to do more than often is that they'll come up with the projects that are very generic. Okay, I'll tell you a very funny thing. Like people can come up to me and say that, hey, I have 3 years of experience into data, but at the same time, the project they have done is something called COVID analysis, right? I'll tell them, how is that going to help a product-based company, correct? COVID is gone, right? We're not talking about COVID anymore. I just want something about sales. I just want something about customers. I just want something about products. Where are those projects, right? And if you're telling me that you have experience into data science, where is that experience, right? Tell me some projects that are related to your internship, that are related to your previous organizations, not something that you're coming up with, maybe COVID analysis, Netflix movies analysis. These are good. Even I have done those projects, but those projects can't go into your resume. Okay, trust me, guys, when we see those kind of resumes with these kind of projects, we'll not even pick them up. Okay, because we know these are not the types of projects that these are very generic. Everybody goes with those projects. Okay, if you want hundreds of these generic projects, you can go for it, but try to think like you don't have to be very make it very complicated for yourself that, hey, I just need one project that nobody in the world has done. That cannot be done simply, right? There are lakhs, and I say lakhs of people who are working in the data field. They have already explored much of it, right? Don't come up with something unique. All you have to come up with at least something that is relevant to business, right? Now you might say, what is a business related project? These are the projects that I have posted here. Okay, so product sales analysis. Let's talk about products. Okay, let's say for example, if you want to get into Google or you want to get into Amazon, right, or maybe some other company that has their own products, right? What are they concerned about? They are concerned about they have a product, they want to sell it to the people. Can you help us out? Okay, not someone who can develop thousands of lines of code. Let's say, for example, you are someone who is very good with Python. You are giving me 2,000 lines of code per day. And then what is the use of it, right? It's not solving anything. You're just writing the code. You are good with Python. That's it, right? But as a data analyst, you should be very good with solving problems. Okay. Trust me, guys, we have some of the people in our organization and previous organizations as well. They used to develop some of the projects even on Excel. That's totally fine because they knew in and out about the business and then they were given the solutions. You get my point? So it's not totally about the tools or how complicated you make it. It's at the end of the day, it comes down to whether you're able to give the solution or not. Okay. If you're able to give the solution even in the Excel, that's totally fine. Okay. Cool. We'll talk about that also. We have things about that, and I have covered most of the topics here. So we'll be covering this. HR attrition analysis, right? This is one of the projects that you can cover, which is basically attrition is nothing but people are leaving. What is the rate of people leaving or entering the organization? This is one of the great projects out there that works very fine. Okay. And then customer segmentation. Make sure your projects are mostly aligned towards the customers. Okay. Because at the end of the day, any company, service based, product based, startup, they are more. Everybody wants their customers to be happy. Everybody wants cares about their customers. Okay. How do we set up the systems in such a way that we give our customers the best service possible or the best product possible, right? So make sure your projects are in this line. I've just like put out some of the projects here. You can definitely take some other projects also. Customer segmentation. Okay. What is the use of customer segmentation? A very simple example I can give you. Let's say, for example, I have 3 customers, right? One of the customer, he buys around crores of products from me. The other customer, lakh. The third customer buys only 1,000 rupees, right? Now, let's say, for example, I have to sell a product which is whose like MRP is around 2 crores, right? Will I reach out to the person who only buys thousands of in 1,000 rupees or something, right? That will be just waste of my marketing cost, or the maybe whatever the efforts that I'll be putting. I know that customer is not going to buy 2 crore product from me. Okay, so what I'll do, like these are all practical projects. Okay, when it comes to the real world, these are the projects that you will be talking about. Nobody talks about how did COVID do. It was there, right? When COVID was there, definitely you could have done some analysis. What is the impact of the sales? What is the impact of COVID on the sales? Definitely, it was a good project back then, but not now. Okay, and then see what are the various common projects people tend to use, and maybe don't use those. Okay, but definitely use these projects in your portfolio. Okay? In your portfolio, every single project should be there. Like I've shown my portfolio, there are so many generic projects out there. Nobody cares. It's just a proof that people want to see. Okay, this person is working on their data, and he has done some of the projects there. Okay. All right. So some other projects, supply chain, financial risk analysis, healthcare, right? I mean, it can be e-commerce, churn prediction, social media sentiment analysis. These are some of the examples, but you can definitely go for some other projects. Maybe you can take a screenshot of it and then work on some of the projects here. All right. Now let's talk about storytelling. Okay. What is storytelling? All right. So this is one of the important part a lot of people tend to miss out on. Okay. When it comes to the storytelling, it's not about telling stories that you have read it from the books or something, right? It is about explaining your projects. Correct. Let's say, for example, I'll say that, hey, I helped Elon Musk build that car, right? I was the only person by his side. Me and Elon Musk built that car, right? You'll all be laughing at me. What is this person saying? Right? He doesn't even make sense. But what if I tell you that exact structure of the project was that came into picture while building that car? And then I give you the code for that. I give you every single patterns and designs that I built, every single recommendation I got from the company, or every single thing that is out there. Right? All of a sudden, you'll be like, you're laughing one moment, the other moment you'll be like, okay, this person is showing something, right? This person is telling me story, and he is giving me the proof with facts, with every single thing that is undeniable, right? Now you got the power of storytelling, right? This is the power of storytelling. I can make you can be laughing at me one moment, the other moment you'll be like, okay, this person is making sense now. Let's hear him out. All right. So now in your case, how does it matter? Okay, when you're sitting in the interviews, and then you're saying that I have worked on some other projects. Okay, it's not about you will be telling me that, hey, most of the times what I'll be hearing is that some people will be like, I have worked on some of the customer segmentation project, and while I got the data, and then final result was this. No, this is not the way that you have to explain the projects. How do you explain a project? All right. So in order to begin something, in order to start something, let's say, for example, you want to, or let's say you want to start something, right? There has to be problem. In order to start a solution for some problem, there has to be a problem in the first place, right? So what was the problem? You have to tell that in the project. Okay, and then the data sources. Okay, most of the times, if at all you're mentioning that you have some experience in data science, or you have already experienced from the previous organization, do not mention I used to get data in Excel files. Okay, this doesn't usually happen. Either you get data from the databases, you scrape the data, or maybe you get it from SharePoint or the online sources. Most of the times it will not be, it will be at times local, but not every time. Okay, so when you're sitting in the interviews, do not say that every single time I used to get the Excel files. Nobody is that kind that they will give you the Excel files, cleaned Excel files, to do the analysis on that. Okay, when it comes to the, and then the third thing you should be explaining is other challenge. Okay, I'll explain to you how exactly the storytelling comes into picture. What are the challenge? This is definitely going to be they're definitely going to be asking you what were the challenges with one of the projects that you just explained. Okay, then explain something. There were challenges with getting access to the data. There were challenges with cleaning the data. There were lots of errors in the data. There were some missing values, so I was pretty much I was not very sure whether I should impute or whether I should go ahead and delete those null values. Okay, and then coming to the EDA, you know what EDA is. So basically, I went through the data, and these are the particular patterns or the insights that I got out of it. And what were the insights? Okay, so let's say there were some insights that I gave to my manager, and then finally, what were the recommendations or what was the final conclusion? Okay, so finally, when you're giving insights to the end client or the manager, and when they implement something on top of that, what were the results out of it? Okay, so let's put it in the picture here. Okay, so let's take an example. Company was experiencing high customer churn and wanted to identify risk factors to improve retention. Okay, retention. So basically, churn is where your customers are living. Okay, are leaving the company, and then you'll have to see why exactly is that happening. Okay, let's forget about this example. I'll just give you a very simple problem statement that I'll make on the go. Okay, let's say I take an example of the sales. All right, my manager reached out to me that, hey, we're not doing good for this particular year. There is something happening in the sales. Can you please identify? Okay, first of all, what I'll do, I'll just note down the problem statement, and when you are given any task, make sure you ask all the questions. Okay, it's not just that somebody told you that you do the analysis and you just started analysis. No, ask what exactly do they want. The reason for that is, guys, because most of the times when you'll be working in data in the real world, right, it will be like if you start working by your own and then you start from your perspective, it will be a great solution. But that is not always the case, because people want you to do the analysis in a different part, right? Because different people have different thinking, right? Let's say, for example, there is a person who has 40 years of experience in business analytics, right? He wants the solution to be in a different way. There is someone who doesn't even know about anything, about data analysis or something. He wants you to do the simple analysis as possible, correct? So always ask questions before starting any project, any work in the data analysis, right? And then, okay, so we're talking about the CLs. Then I will go to the data sources, whether I have the right permissions in the database or maybe the SharePoint, I'll get the data. And finally, I'll find the challenge. If at all, I'll have to clean some of the data, or if at all, I have the right access, right? And then finally, I'll do some EDA. While I'm doing some EDA, I'll keep a note of the things that actually matter. Keep this in mind also, okay? While you're doing EDA and you're sitting in the interviews, do not explain every single thing that I got the data and then I like imputed the null values, removed the outliers, cleaned, group, did some group by here and there. No, this is not the way. Okay, the thing that you'll have to do, you'll just have to pinpoint some good points. Okay, some points that made an impact, right? Let's say, for example, in this case, I can say that while I was doing EDA, I realized, or I analyzed that in the month of May and June, we were down as compared to the last year. We're down by 30%, right? Which was huge. That was probably the reason we were taking hit on the sales this particular year, right? Now I have got one point only. Okay, I'm not even explaining what exactly did I do, all the feature engineering and all. Just one point I've got. Okay, what were the insights? Then I went to my manager. I told him that, hey, I found out in these two particular months that the sales got down. And the reason, when I went into the research, or I did some of the research on the weather also, it seems like the weather was very hot as compared to the last year, these 2 months, right? That's probably the reason customers are not visiting us. Right now, I have created a story out of it, and it's not just made up story. It is based on the data, based on my research, that all those things will be attached to it. Okay, and then finally, what then people can ask me, what do you recommend? I'll say, maybe next year when we are into the May and June, if the temperature is too high, let's just say we will deliver to the people's house directly. Okay, so that they don't have to come to our particular shop in order to buy, and the sales will skyrocket. And then let's give some discounts on those particular two months, right? Now it is a completely structured project. Okay, I started with problem statement. I just mentioned about the data sources. I just mentioned about the EDA, what was my insight, not just explaining every single thing about the code. Okay, the person who will be interviewing you, he already has so many years of experience. That is probably the reason he is taking that interview. Just mention the core thing about the project. Okay, then there will come a time where interviewer will ask, okay, this particular project, I'm pretty interested in the way you mentioned it. Can you mention in detail? Then you can mention in detail. Then you can mention about even the code, what exactly you did, what were the commands that you used in pandas and all. Okay. Cool. I hope storytelling was clear. We will take questions after this job hunt thing is over. Definitely. I know, like, then keep note of your questions. Also, like I've told you in the beginning, keep note of all the questions, and we will take the question post. We'll go for the other things. All right. So now, what is ATS friendly resume? Okay. See, it doesn't matter whatever the format your resume is, however the resume of yours looks like. There can be photos in your resume. It can be whatever the resume that you have. It is totally fine. Okay. But what does matter here is that how you structure your resume. All right. So at the top of my resume, this is just it's not actual resume of mine. I have 2 to 3 pages. And keep this in mind, guys, your resume doesn't have to be one page. Okay. If at all you have less experience at this point and less projects at this point, definitely go with one page resume. Okay. Like I have heard it many times that people will say, even Elon Musk has one page resume. Why do you have 2 page resume, right? He's Elon Musk, right? He owns 2 to 3 companies. He doesn't even need a resume for that sake, correct? So now, for us, basically, you'll have to follow a structure. Okay. So first, mention about the summary. And at the top of my resume, can you see I have mentioned portfolio? And these are the links, these are the clickable links. Okay. So basically, like if at all some recruiter or maybe some manager is going to interview me, they'll at least take 2 minutes to click on it. Okay, whether this person has actually in his portfolio, whether this person has actually something in his GitHub, right? LinkedIn, and then it has to be clickable. Okay. And then coming to the summary. In summary, you'll just give a gist of what exactly you're doing. All right. Maybe you have 2 years of experience. What is your specialization? Keep it very simple and very clear. All right. And then comes the experience. You mentioned about the experience. You mentioned whatever you're doing here. Maybe I have put only just one pointer so that I can show you guys what exactly the sample resume looks like or how exactly it should be structured. Okay. Then in the experience, you can mention 3 pointers, but make sure, guys, make sure it is, let's say, for example, if you're applying for the data analyst job, do not mention that I am very good with supporting customers on calls and all, right? Then you might get shortlisted for the jobs that are related to helping customers on call, right? Keep it like even if you have done some of the analysis or very short analysis, make sure you keep it very aligned towards data analysis. Okay, I have used Excel in my previous organization. I've used Power BI in my previous organization so that you are targeted for the right roles. Okay, great. And these are just the experiences, how experience is going to be mentioned. And then coming to the education. Okay, you can mention the education, obviously. That is not something that I'll have to tell you. Definitely, everybody will mention their education here. Then comes the projects. Okay, these are very important things. Okay, now there might be a confusion. You just mentioned that every project should be in GitHub. Why are you mentioning the projects in the resume, right? See, guys, the projects in my GitHub are different. So these are the projects that I'm developing at my current organization right now. Okay. Do you think I'll put a link? I'll put maybe the code or maybe I'll put the data of my current organization here? No, right? If I'll do that, I'll be sued. I'll be kicked out of the company right away. Okay. But in resume, when you're mentioning about the projects, make sure you're mentioning the current organization projects or the previous organization projects. Okay. Cool. So keep that in mind. All the projects that you can even mention 5 projects. That is totally fine. But make sure you're avoiding a Titanic analysis or Zomato analysis, please. Okay. People who see when people see those kind of projects in your resume, they'll not even pick your resume nowadays. As compared to whatever the competition is in the market. Okay. So keep that in mind. The project should be very centric towards what actual businesses do. All right. And in some cases, when you are applying, let's say, for example, to healthcare, keep, if at all you have done some more projects, make sure you have at least one of the healthcare projects in there. Okay. But that should be tailored. It's not like I have just one resume and I'll just apply it to 500 companies. Okay. That should be taken care of. And then coming to the skills, mention all the skills that you have. Okay. And do not worry. Let's say, for example, you have just core skills, all right? And then all of a sudden you're seeing in the job posting that they are also mentioning they need AWS. That's fine. You can still go for that job because you have the core skills of a data analyst. Okay. Later they can even some people even ask that we need PhD, we need something else. Just apply for it anyway. Let's see how it goes, right? Because at the end of the day, data analysts will be working on the core skills only. Okay, and yeah, definitely there will be some more skills, some cloud things, fabric, etc., etc., ETL tools, big data tools, right? But that is not the core skills that comprise of the data analyst job. Okay, you can still apply for those particular jobs. And finally, go with the certifications. Okay, when I talk about certifications, please do not take it as something that I'm mentioning. If you have Python, I have 5 certificates of Python. Do not put 5 certificates of Python. At least one credible certificate. The best certificate out of those 5 certificates should be put here. Okay, if you have certificate from the I am skills, definitely mention that here because it adds to the credibility, right? See, the reason you'll be mentioning certifications, you'll be mentioning the links here, it is just to add the credibility, right? When people see your resume, yes, this is the person who has already worked in data. They have the certificates, they have the portfolio, they have the projects. Let's just give them the try. Let's just give them the chance, right? So keep that in mind, guys. This is very important, and then work on personal brand. All right. So, like I've told you, I have already around 90,000 followers on LinkedIn, and I have recently started Instagram. I post about data science. I post free resources on data science and all right. But those are just the posts. Okay, nothing too much. But at the same time, how is it helping me? Right. When I first started these things, I was like, even my friends were like, "Why are you wasting your time? Why not rather do something else? Why not start something else?" Right. But see, guys, it has an impact, right? There, I have multiple instances where people reached out to me directly on my LinkedIn that, hey, we have this particular job, or we have this speaking opportunity, we have this particular opportunity for you. Would you mind coming up? Would you? I even the mentorship thing that I was talking about on Please Talk Meet, right? I mean, now that I'm rated top on those particular platforms, but how did that start? I was not hiding in the den, and then all of a sudden somebody reached out to me that, hey, we think you're a great mentor, just start. No, you'll just have to show up. Okay, show up somewhere. If you have done some of the projects, post about it on LinkedIn. Okay, it can be very simple project, guys. Do not worry. If you see my LinkedIn right now, you will find it somewhat impressive, right? But see my first post, what I was talking about. Okay, 2 likes, 0 likes, nothing, no comments, right? But still, I just kept on going. While I was learning things, I just posted about it. I'm at 90,000 right now, right? But I'm not saying that it is a big thing, or maybe I'm boasting about these things, but these are very important nowadays, right? If you want yourself to be highlighted, or maybe highlight your skills, who will get to know? Let's say, for example, I was someone, I'm good with data science. I'm pretty confident that I can work on any of the projects. I am even good with AI engineering, generative AI, right? I'm not even posting about it. I don't even have a profile. Nobody knows about me, right? And nobody cares, to be honest. All right. So you just have to push yourself in, honestly, right? In order to get more opportunity, just post about it on LinkedIn that, hey, I have completed a course from IAM Skills. This is what I have learned. I just want to share my learnings. Trust me. You might be thinking that, hey, how will I share? I'm just starting, right? What will I share? I've just learned about print Python. That's completely fine. There are people even on the LinkedIn that have not even started yet. They don't even know what you know, right? If you share the journey, that is definitely going to pay you in like exponentially. Okay? So if you follow these things, definitely it's going to help, right? I'll even show you my LinkedIn also in some time, maybe. Yeah, so lots of opportunities I will get, right? This is my LinkedIn, guys. Okay, lots of opportunities I will usually get. Even when it comes to the jobs also. Okay, all right. Maybe I'll not show you the message right now, but at the same time, multiple times I have been reached out by many people, even from Microsoft, Amazon, that we have some of the opportunities. Do you mind applying for those particular jobs, right? And even if I show you my Gmail, I have every day. I don't know why people will talk about that. Hey, we're not getting calls. We're not hearing many things from like the companies. But most of the time, see, PepsiCo, all right, there is Microsoft also. I recently got okay, you just have to apply on the Microsoft. Many people who reach out. There are so many jobs out there. Microsoft recruiting. You're almost there. Please apply, right? And then so many jobs I will get every single day. I'll get notified on these things. The reason, you'll just have to follow the basics. All right. You don't have to be someone who is really good with things, or maybe you're the master. See, one thing I'll tell you more. If you are very good with Python, you will get a job as a Python developer only. Okay. You can't get a job in data analysis. Okay. And a data analyst is better than a Python developer. I'll tell you that. Okay. So you don't have to be master of anything. Just show up, try every single day, you'll improve. Okay. Even if you're not good with coding, if you're not anything, like you're not even started yet, that's totally fine. But start somewhere. Okay. So this is about the personal brand. Once you set up your personal brand, just make sure you update your profile. You put everything that maybe you have got some certifications from IIM Skills, put those certificates out there so that people, when they're looking for a data analyst to hire, they see your profile and they get a gist that this is someone who has done some certifications. Yeah, they are pretty active. They post about their learnings. They post about their projects. Definitely, you have more chances. Trust me, you have many times more chances than people who are not posting about it. They can be better than you at like skills, but if you have an online presence, you will get a great opportunities. Okay, trust me, guys. If you follow these words, if you follow these are very practical things that I follow every day. Even if I'm not feeling well or I'm not, not in a happy mood, I'll do it anyway. Okay, you'll just have to do it. Okay. All right. So now coming to the practical job search. Okay. So see, guys, when it comes to the jobs, it's not like I have applied. I'll get this many times that people will come and tell me that, hey, we applied for 500 jobs. We're not hearing it back from them. How did you apply? That matters. Okay. You can be applying for 1,000 jobs. You'll still not hear from anyone. But how do you apply for the jobs? So keep this in mind. The first preference in companies is given to the internal movements. Okay, if somebody from the internal team wants to move into data science, they'll be given the first preference. All right. The second preference is given to the referrals. And in referrals also, it depends who is given the referral. Let's say, for example, I'm a good employee in my company. I'm giving you the referral. Then you'll be given more preference rather than some other, like maybe some employee who's not good at their work. Okay, it also depends on that. And then the third thing is that you're applying, you're directly applying for that job. So in this case, obviously the internal movement, if that is not an option for you guys, then the second best thing is the referral. Okay, now how do you get the referrals? How do you apply for the jobs also? Okay, so these are some of the companies that you should take the screenshot of it and then apply to these particular platforms. And it's not like I've uploaded my resume and I'm applying randomly. No, go there, spend some time on that particular platform and update every single thing that you have. All right. You have developed 20 projects. I need those 20 projects on every single platform there. Okay. You have some achievements, you have some certifications, update that. Okay. You can be applying for 500 jobs, but you need only one job, guys, right? Do not think that I have applied for 50 jobs, data analyst. There are no data analyst jobs. Trust me, thousands of jobs are there. Okay. Every single day I'm getting calls. I'm even sick of getting every day calls, right? Data scientist, AI engineer, data analyst, right? Many jobs are out there. How to apply on LinkedIn? Okay. Now let me give you a gist of, or maybe an idea. How do you apply, or how do you get referrals for that sake, right? We have talked about the referrals. How do we get the referrals? What about easy apply? Lots of people are there on the LinkedIn. They'll be clicking on easy apply. Trust me, guys, please don't try that. Okay, that will just waste your time. If you have applied for 500 easy apply jobs, don't even do that. That is just waste of time, because I'll tell you why. Because if at all, I'll be posting one job right now in 5 minutes, I'll get, and then there's an easy apply option there, I'll get 3,000 applications in just 5 minutes. Okay. So then when will your resume come there, and when will I select your resume? That is a question, right? So I'll usually say avoid easy apply. Okay. Now, how do you ask for referrals? Okay. Now, first, let me just show you one thing. How do you apply for jobs on LinkedIn? Okay. So if I click here, right? Let's say, for example, Novartis is okay, they're hiring for this particular job. Okay, I'll click on it. All right, now I will check the responsibilities. It's not an easy apply. Definitely, I'll go with it. And then at the same time, what I'll see, I'll just check if anybody is there, right? If okay, this person is from my network. Hussain is there, right? He's from my network and he's working in Novartis. Okay. Now what I'll do, I'll go here. Can you see this? What I have done here? I have developed kind of a message, or maybe you can customize it your way. What I'm saying, hi. In this case, hi Hussein. I'm the Jamal, a data analyst with 7 years of experience in this particular field, and I am specializing in particular skills, right? And okay, recent wins include I have got some of the awards from here and there, and this is my second award. And then, okay, I saw or I noticed that your company is hiring for this particular role, and this aligns perfectly with what I do, right? And the reason for that, this is my resume. You can send a copy, or maybe you can send a link, and this is my portfolio. Okay. And so when you send a message like this, rather just mentioning that, hey, I just saw like I just need a referral for it. Can you give it to me? No, nobody's going to give you a referral, right? Why will they? Why? Let's say, for example, I'm working in the company, I have a very good reputation, and all of a sudden somebody, any person reached out to me that I need a referral. Do you think I'll go ahead and give them the referral? Definitely, I want to, but at the same time, I need reason. Why should I give you the referral, right? Let's say, for example, I'll tell you this thing happened to me previously also when I gave referral to some random person. Seems like they're not into data science only, right? They've not even started their course yet. They don't even know about Excel, but somehow I gave them the referral. Now, what there was an impact on my image also. My manager came to me and then said, like, did you know this guy? Was he your friend? Were you trying to get him into this company? Because totally he was not like even good with Excel. How can you even refer? Right, so that is what people will be very, I mean, we have to be also informed whether you're good at it or not. And at the same time, if I give you the referral and you are selected in that particular company, I'll get a good benefit out of it. I'll get around 60, 70,000 rupees for one referral if you stay in that company for 6 months. But at the same time, I'll have to keep in mind that you're actually the person who is working in that particular zone, or you're good with data science. You get my point? So getting a referral is not an issue. This is exactly how you should reach out. You can customize the message. You can see some good words about that particular person also. I saw your profile. I'm pretty impressed by your profile. But at the same time, I saw that there was one of the openings, and I am pretty much interested in that. Here's my resume. Here's my GitHub link. Please go through it. And based on it, if you can please refer me, I'll be very grateful. Right? This is exactly how you'll get the referral. And trust me, guys, if you reach out this way, 9 out of 10, you'll get the referral for sure. Okay. So this is the way. I'll copy this message, or maybe I'll just customize it, and I'll go to the LinkedIn, send it to Hussein in this case, right? And then see if he reaches out. If he doesn't, I'll go to some other employees also. All right. There were 3 to 4 employees, or maybe in Novartis, hundreds of people are there. I'll reach out to at least 10, 20 people with the same message that, hey, I just want to get the referral. I'm impressed by your profile also. Right. These are some of the tactics that you'll have to follow, guys, in order to get a job. Okay. And trust me, when you're applying for a job with referral, definitely you'll be given like more preference as compared to you applying randomly on LinkedIn on easy apply now. All right, guys. So we are done with the 2 modules, which was the introduction, which was how you can hunt the jobs. I just want to hear from you if you have any questions. Maybe we can give them the chance to ask the question, right? So if at all you guys have any question, you can just ask. Yeah. Or maybe you can raise your hands, text so that I can unmute you. So do we have any questions? Anyone? Anything at all? Any question there? You can even text it. That's totally fine. Mhm. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, Taj, like say, I've just
Mhm.
joined again. So can I ask
Mhm.
you one small doubt?
Yeah, sure, definitely.
So,
Go ahead.
yeah, so my students, like many students,
Mhm.
usually they ask like,
Mhm.
educational background. So,
Mhm.
what educational background is very suitable for data analytics? But nowadays, you see like, many people
mhm,
from different backgrounds are trying data analytics.
mhm,
So
mhm,
how are they going to approach towards the job? As you have shown many different things
mhm.
which are very appreciable and very nice, but
Okay.
how these people who are from different background, how do they
Mhm.
approach the job hunt?
Absolutely,
Is it like
absolutely.
gonna work for them, or
Mhm, mhm.
like, yeah?
See, see, I'll tell you one thing. So in my previous organization, I had a manager who was very good with data analysis, but his degree was into arts. Okay. So
Mhm.
degree here is not a question. Okay. It's not something that should, I mean, take you back or maybe stop you from applying. That's completely fine. Guys, nowadays it doesn't even matter. People, if you have PhD or if you have a different field thing altogether, right? If you want to get into the data, you can just learn the skills, have the right projects. Okay, that's what matters. It's not like you'll not be hired based on your degree. If I have PhD and I'm sitting in the interviews and I'm not able to deliver in the interviews, I'll not be selected. I'll be rejected right away, even if I have PhD from MIT. Right. But at the same time, if I have the degree, maybe in arts or something, but I have some good projects in my resume and I'm able to deliver in that particular interview, I'll be hired. Okay. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, so your recruiters mostly see the projects, right, rather than
Yes.
the degrees. Okay.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah. So does anyone have questions? Maybe they can post or maybe you can check if anybody has questions. And if not, then we can move forward. So guys, anyone has questions or shall we move forward?
Yes, we shall move forward.
Great. All right. So assuming everything is clear till here, let's go for the job ready. How do you, definitely there will be some of the myths that I have covered that will cover the questions that you might have about data. All right. So everything will be covered. Don't worry. Now, how do you become job ready? We just saw how do you have to job hunt, where you have to go, how do you set up your resume, your portfolio, LinkedIn, how do you apply for the jobs also. Now, how do you become job ready? Okay. How do you become job ready to the point that you're sitting in the interviews and you feel very confident about cracking any interview? Okay. So first thing first, interview process. Let's talk about interview process. When you'll be sitting in the interview, how the interview process is going to be. Okay. So first thing first, your resume. Your resume is the main aspect of your interviewing process or maybe the recruitment thing. All right. So make sure you spend some good amount of time in your resume. And at the same time, guys, when I say spend some time on your resume, do not think that you'll copy paste somebody's resume or copy paste the format of somebody's resume and you don't know about your resume, you're putting it out there. Okay. Because when you are interviewed, you'll definitely be asked about you can be asked about every single thing in your resume. Okay. When I'm interviewing someone and if I tell them that, hey, you have mentioned 5% increase in the sales, how does that happen? And they don't even reply or they don't know that, they will mention that it happened because maybe I don't know about it, right? That is the red flag right away for me. Okay. So keep that in mind. Whatever you are mentioning in your resume, be very confident about it. Make sure you know every single bit about your resume. That's the first thing. Okay. Once your resume is shortlisted, there will be a screening round. Screening round, HR will reach out to you. They'll be asking you some of the basic questions about your experience, uh, which I'll show you, right? Then will come the technical round. All right. In technical round, they'll gauge your technical skills, how good you are with maybe practicals, also the coding things, or also the theoretical things. All right. And then comes the behavioral round. Behavioral round, it can be called managerial round. You call it behavioral round, call it anything. Business round also. It is same thing. All right. And then finally comes the offer letter. Cool. Great. All right. Now let's go for the interview preparation. How do you prepare for each round? Okay. When it comes to the screening round, basic experience check. They just want to see how many years of experience you have. Or, and the main thing that HR will be gauging are the communication skills. All right. It's just that how many, like whether you're able to communicate well. Because when it comes to the data analyst role, guys, trust me, you'll have to speak up, right? You cannot be not talking at all, because at the end of the day, if you're developing some of the reports or some of the solutions, you'll have to present it, right? You'll have to back yourself what exactly you have done. Let's say, for example, you gave me some of the task, I deployed the solution, that's it. I'm not talking to anyone, that's it, right? How does that even happen? That's not even practical, right? I have to present to people how I have developed that particular solution, right? What is the impact of the solution and how is that practical in the real life, right? So as a data analyst, you are the front facing, you're the business facing person. So make sure you do talk, right? You can start. That's totally fine at times. When I started, I used to stammer also. I used to think about, okay, what if I talk? What if my English is not good? Even if it's not good, even now, that's totally fine. But you'll have to start somewhere, right? All right. So then also availability, they'll be talking about whether you're and flexibility at the same time. All right. I'll give you this one thing, one tip while you're being screened. Okay. When HR is reaching out to you, they'll ask, what is the salary that you're expecting? Okay. Please do not mention that I am expecting 10 lakhs, 20 lakhs at that point. Okay. If they are mentioning that, hey, we have a limit of 6 lakhs only, right? Yeah, sure. I'm flexible. That's fine. Let's go with the interview process. At least you're getting to sit in the interview, right? Once you crack the interview, then put your demands forth. Okay. If you're putting your demands in the very beginning that I'll not just go for the interview because I need 20 lakhs, they'll not even proceed with you, right? You are just and trust me, guys, when you are completing the interview and you're done with, you have done good, or maybe you're selected, then you have that say. You can say, no, I don't need 6 lakhs only. Maybe it's too less for that particular company or based on the standards of this particular company. I want you to reflect on it or maybe increase it by 20%, increase it by 25%. Then they will definitely do something about it. The reason they have put efforts in your application, they have put some manpower in interviewing you for all those hours and then taking your documents for the background and all. So keep that in mind. When you're being interviewed in the first place, do not see that I'll need 20 lakhs. I'm not flexible. I'll not move. That's totally fine. Later, we will discuss whether you want to move or you want to do remote. That's fine. When somebody is asking you for the interview opportunity or you're getting the opportunity, just take that. Take that with both the hands and say, yes, I'm flexible. I'm good with the salary that you're offering. Give me the interview. Okay. Once you crack the interview, you can put forth your demands. You get my point? Maybe they'll get rejected, but trust me, 90% of the time they'll get accepted based on like the efforts or based on they have already gauged you that you're a good employee or maybe you have cracked their interview. Then going for 1 lakh, 2 lakh more, that's not a problem at all for the companies usually. Okay. So keep that in mind for the screening round. Now coming to the technical round, guys. Okay. Keep this in mind. Okay. When it comes to the practical, Python and SQL, these are the two aspects or the two skills where you'll be asked to write code on the whiteboard. Okay, I'll simply, let's say, for example, I'm interviewing any one of you. I'll say, just present your screen, or this is the whiteboard. Just write the code. Okay, write the Armstrong number, write the reversal of this string or something. Right, then you'll have to do it. Okay, in front of me, and at the same time, I can say, what about the EDA? Okay, you'll have to maybe mention the steps that you do in EDA. I can mention that how do you delete null values? How do you impute the null values? How do you remove the outliers? Okay, how do you delete the duplicates? How do you take care of the errors? Or how do you group by? How do you do all these stuff? If you want to know about the data, what are the commands that you use, right? Because at the end of the day, you need to understand one thing. When you're working as a data analyst, you're not working as a developer. You'll not be developing the front end, back end. You are just giving the solution. You're manipulating the data. So EDA is your bread and butter. Okay? 80% of the times you'll be cleaning the data, you'll be getting insights out of it. Okay? Whatever the tool you're using, you can be using Excel, you can be using Power BI, you can be using Python, or any other tool for that sake. But make sure you're good with analyzing the data. Okay. And then coming to the SQL, same goes for the SQL. So the reason I have mentioned practical here, because these are the only two practical skills where you'll be asked to write code. Okay. From Python, you'll be asked to write any of the coding questions. And from the SQL, you can be asked to write the queries. Okay. Let's say, for example, there are two tables. I can give you, there are two tables. Write the query for it. Okay. You can use anything. And keep this in mind when it comes to the SQL. Do not think I'll have to use CTs, I'll have to use subqueries. You can use a very simple example. You can use very simple solution to get it done, right? Whatever the questions you're being given, if you are able to solve it in a very simple manner also, that's fine. Until and unless the recruiter or the manager tells you or the interviewer tells you, that I want it to be done the other way using CTEs or subqueries. Okay, you can take any approach solving those queries, but make sure you're good enough. How do you become good enough with these? Okay, when it comes to the EDA, make sure you're revising the projects that you have done till now. Okay, whatever the steps are in there, at least one project. Just make sure you are good with code. Anybody can mention how do you delete null values or something of that sort. You should be knowing those commands. Okay, the reason for that, when you're mentioning that I am good with Python or maybe I have some experience in data science, right? So I expect that you have done these projects over and over again. Correct, guys? So now, if you do something over and over again, then definitely you have that on tip of your tongue. It's not something, let's say, for example, you tell me that, hey, do you play cricket? I'll say, yes. I go on a weekly basis. It's been almost 10 years that I'm playing cricket, right? Now, if you tell me what is a full toss ball, right? If I take time and I stammer, a full toss ball is something, 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 all of a sudden you'll get this idea that this person is not someone who plays regularly. He's lying, right? And at the same time, like if you ask me, I should be very. It is a regular thing that I do, right? So keep that in mind when you're asked about EDA, when you're asked about SQL queries, make sure you're practicing from your end before you're sitting in the interviews, right? It's not gonna be like when you're sitting in the interviews, they're gonna be asking you what is SQL, what is CTE, what is subquery. No, they are going to ask you why do you use CTE or subquery? Which one is more efficient? Correct. It's not going to be very easy kind of questions. Definitely, you have learned to develop your basics, but at the same time, make sure you're good with problem solving. That is the main task that you should be doing. Okay? Then comes the theoretical question. In Python, make sure you're good with pandas, NumPy, loops, functions, and object-oriented programming. Like I told you already, these are basically classes, objects. How do you do? So, what is the why do we use object-oriented programming in the first place? It is because we want to use the dry concept. Do not repeat yourself. Okay, and then coming to the sequel. What are the topics you should be focusing on? Joins, definitely. Okay, aggregations, subqueries, CTEs, and Windows functions. These are the topics you should be focusing on. And Power BI, DAX, very, very important. Relationships in Power BI, filters, and dashboard design or the report design that you call it, right? And then Excel coming to the formulas, pivot table, charts, lookups. And then the statistics that we're talking about, mean, median, mode, those are just the central tendencies. And then you focus on hypothesis testing, correlation. That will work fine. Okay. And then finally, in the third round, there will be a managerial round. It will be more like a business round. All right. So, project deep dive. What is this round mostly all about? You might ask, or you might be confused about. I have already given the technical round. Why do I need a managerial round? Right. And trust me, guys, 90% of the times people will be like, I have cleared the technical round. I think I've got that job. No, you still are 50% chances are there that you'll be rejected. Why? Because the managerial round also matters as much as technical round matters. Okay. At the end of the day, they want to understand whether you have the business knowledge, okay, or you have that zeal to work with the business. Right. It's not about developing the code or being the technical good with technical things only. Okay. What about the managerial round? They want to know about your projects. Okay. So the reason I was mentioning how do you explain those projects, that is the reason. Okay. In this particular round, they want to know about your work, not just years of experience. They'll be asking, tell me about your favorite projects or the projects that you really think of that you have done a great job with. Right. Can you explain those projects in detail? Okay. Let's say, for example, you explained a sales prediction project, and I think I'll need that particular project from for my company also. Okay? Then I'll be asking you, let's say you got a chance in this particular company, all right, or you got the job. How will you do the sales prediction with our data? Can you go through it step by step? Okay, and what should be the outcome of that? Okay, how do you expect our sales to increase post that project? Right. So it is now we are talking about business here. We're not talking about nothing about technical things. The managerial round or the behavioral round, it's not going to be like, tell me what is equal. No. Tell me scenario based questions. What are the scenario based questions, right? Sometimes it will be like, okay, let me give the example. Okay, I was being asked when I went to Amazon. They asked me this particular question. You are working on one of the project. Okay, you have a client, you have a manager. Manager tells you do it in a way, okay, and the client tells you do it in a B way, right? Now there are two ways. Now I'm confused. What should I do on this particular project? So the answer that I came up with, although I had learned about it previously, so the answer should be like, I'll not take manager's approach or or any specific person's approach. I will rather take two approach to that particular problem. Okay. And then bring them together and then show them both the approach. Hey, manager, I've worked on your approach. This is the outcome of by following your approach. And hey, client, this is the like outcome by following your approach. Now you guys decide which one looks better, right? By answering that question in that way, definitely you're someone who is thinking about solving the problems, not just with the data, but also solving any clashes, anything that can come up. Okay. Keep this in mind. This is very important. Okay. And then business understanding. See, guys, when you're sitting in the interview for any of the company, don't just sit in the interview. Just research about that company first. Okay. Let's say, for example, we are going for Amazon. Learn about Amazon. What are the products Amazon sells? What are the services Amazon is mostly inclined towards? How does the revenue look like? Okay, how is the like what is the rating of the employees by, or maybe sometimes what will happen when you're going for any of the jobs, make sure you're going through a company's profile, or maybe there are so many websites out there that you can see. Glassdoor is there, whether it's a good fit of for you or not, right? Sometimes what will happen, you have interviewed for a company and people have rated it 1 star because it's not good to work at. People are very toxic. It's not a good culture to work at. Just look at that. That's also important. You just don't want to get stuck into something that's very toxic, right? Just make sure you do your research before entering any of the company. That is my point. Okay. And when you're sitting in the interview, you should be knowing about the company, where the company stands in the market. Okay, what exactly you can do for that, and how do you think it aligns with you? So sometimes what will happen, you're sitting in the interview and then they'll tell you, how do you think your skills and the job skill set that you're coming up with aligns with our company? If you have not done the research, what will you say? I have the skills of SQL, Power BI. Everybody has that. There are people in lines that are waiting to get interviewed with those skills. Just mention, just try to stand out. I have done my research. I've seen that you are more aligned towards AI. So for that purpose, I have already learned machine learning, something. I know the basics of machine learning, and if given chance, I'll deep dive into it. I can definitely do some projects on machine learning as well. Correct. Now you are standing out as compared to the other like people that are applying for the job, right? And then communication and teamwork. Okay, how do you communicate and be very polite while you're putting your points through? Okay, do not cut a recruiter or maybe the person who is interviewing you, right? He might be there might be some clashes at times. He will say, no, I disagree with your point. Take it easy, right? You're not there to fight. It is just that he doesn't agree. There's a common saying, let's agree to disagree, right? If there is a disagreement, take it. What can be the other point? How they are thinking? Can you tell me your perspective? Maybe I missed your perspective. Okay, this is the perspective of yours. Okay, based on your perspective, I think then we can go for this approach. Right? At the end of the day, you're solving problems everywhere. I tell you guys that. Okay. And handling challenge and deadlines. How do you handle challenge and deadlines? If at all you're mentioning any of the things or any of the experience that you're mentioning, or even the internship experience, how will you manage the deadlines? Okay, keep that in mind. I mean, you might be, this is a very important question and this gets asked pretty often. Just make sure you have an answer ready for it. Kind of deadlines. I prioritize the work based on maybe the deadlines. Okay, let's say for example, in 10 days I'll have to submit one of the projects. I'll first complete that, then I'll complete the other projects which has to be submitted in 30 days. Right, that kind of answers. And then decision making and KPI. KPIs is key performance indicators, and decision making, like, yeah, how do you make the decision based on the key performance indicators? So make sure you know about the key performance indicators before you are sitting in the interview, right? So basically, let's say for example, Amazon. You are interviewing for the sales particular profile. Know what are the KPIs in sales. There is, okay, last year sales trend, CAGR, and there are so many KPIs. You don't have to know every single thing, but at least have an idea what exactly those KPIs are. Okay, so this thing you'll have to keep in mind, and keep this in mind, guys. This happens So many times people fail in interviews because they get very nervous. Okay, when you're sitting in the interviews, don't think you will crack 100% of the interview. Trust me, if I'll sit in the interview right now, maybe I will miss out on the 30% of the questions. Okay. Even though I have 7 years of experience, and that is completely fine. I can still expect that I'll be selected. Okay. When you're sitting in the interviews, nobody has to be perfect. Nobody expects you to be perfect. You just have to give the answers. Even if you don't know, try to get an idea. Whatever you know, give it out. Okay. Don't think that, okay, I have missed out on this particular very simple question. Oh my God, now I'm going to fail for sure. No, you're not. Okay. Even if you answer 60% of the questions, that's fine. You'll still get the job. Okay. That's what I mean. Just don't get nervous when you're sitting in the interviews. Make sure you're when you're well prepared for the job. Sometimes there will be cases you get very nervous. You're not even delivering. Don't worry, but at least sit in the interviews. That will happen for 1, 2, 3 interviews. But post that, you'll be very comfortable with answering the questions, with handling the situations. Okay. If at all you get the chance, you're shortlisted for any of the interviews. Don't say that I'll not sit in that interview. I'm not prepared for it. Okay. Sit in that interview anyway, and then see how you'll get the experience, right? If I even right now I'm giving you even the like proper structure how exactly the interviews go, but you'll get the real time experience only when you're sitting in the interview. So that is my point. Sit in the interviews. Don't worry about it. Like, don't be fearful of anything. Okay. And then you'll have an assignment. Many of the times when you're applying for Google or any of those product based companies, you'll be given an assignment. You'll be given a data set that, hey, within 2 days, we want you to work on this particular data set and come up and share it with us in 2 days, based on what your analysis was. If they like that analysis of yours or the report of yours, they'll call you up. They'll tell us about your insights. What did you found in those projects? Okay, or what was there in that data that we missed and you just got out of it, and what is your recommendation based on it? Okay, very simple things, guys. Just try to simplify every single thing. You don't have to complicate anything. Or maybe sometimes what will people think that, no, I'll not put that project in my resume. Why? Because it's not complicated. You don't have to complicate it. If you are building a solution with 3 lines of code with Excel file, put that. But it should be a solution. You get my point? Business solution, that too. Great. So these are some of the questions that I have put here. All right. So basically, like notice period, compensation expectations. I've told you this compensation expectation. This is a huge, huge thing that people get rejected in the very first place. Do not worry. You can talk about compensation later. At first, when you're being asked whether you're flexible to move, whether you're flexible to work in the night shifts, whether you are flexible with the salary that you're being provided. Yes, I am. Let's go for the interview. That's fine, right? At least you'll get to sit in the interview. If not being selected, also you'll get to sit in the interviews. All right. So these are the things. Sometimes even nowadays, what happens, HRs will also ask you about some basic questions about SQL, Python, BI, so that they get a gist whether you are actually the one that should go forward. Okay. And these are some of the questions that I've put here. How do you prioritize? Just simple, very simple questions will be there in the screening round. You don't have to worry about, but at least tell me about yourself. Let's say, for example, this is your first time. You are looking out for the job. Make sure you are going through this. You are preparing a note about yourself. Okay. Many people think that, hey, why should I prepare it? Because when you're sitting in the interviews, you get nervous. At times you'll be like stammering, okay, you're memorizing which college I worked for, right, or something like that. Keep a note of it and then go through it 2 to 3 times before going for the interview, and then mention it in a structured way. Okay. So how do you prepare it? So first, you just want to talk about yourself, and then you talk about your education, and finally you talk about your experience, and then hobbies. Please do not mention in your hobbies, or do not mention that, hey, I am good with singing, I love going to clubs or something. That is not relevant to the job. Okay. Even if you're mentioning about the hobbies, mention something related to chess, because chess is very analytical kind of a game, right? Or if you're mentioning about hobbies, mention that I love doing open source projects. You get him a point? Nobody wants to hear that how good you are with singing, dancing. That's not related to the job. Okay. Keep that in mind. Great. Now let's move the technical practical questions, right? These are some of the questions. Obviously, guys, if at all you are, if you are connected on the LinkedIn also, or you have already gone through the course. I do share some of the questions here and there in the posts, how what exactly you should be expecting, or maybe there are so many platforms that you can practice SQL questions on. Definitely go for that. Be well prepared for SQL and Python. And these are some of the questions that I told you about, right? Some people might, when you're sitting in the interviews, they might be asking you about reverse integer and reverse string. Give the code on the whiteboard. Okay, top three products by revenue. They'll be giving you some of the data set or the hypothetical scenarios. You just have to write. And then focus should be on SQL Python. Okay, statistics, these are all theoretical. But coming to SQL and Python, you'll have to write some code. So keep that in mind. All right. So managerial questions definitely about the projects, problem solving, and analytical thinking. They just want to know whether you are an analytical thinker or not. Okay, whether you are a problem solver or not. And when it comes to the freshers, I'll just tell you one thing. When somebody asks you questions, don't say, "How will I know?" Okay, I'll tell you one like interesting thing how I got into Amazon. There was this one guy before me. He was being asked some very vague question, kind of like, okay, train is going at this speed. How will you know where are we standing, or how much distance we have covered? That was one of the questions. And he came out, he said, they are asking foolish questions. I'm not going to answer that. Okay. So that was one thing. The other thing that they were asking is that this is the building. You're sitting in front of me. There is the table. Tell me how many tables are there in the building, right? How vague of a question that sounds like, right? Now, when I sat in that interview, I knew something is different, right? I told him, okay, let's say, for example, there are 20 floors and each floor has 10 tables, then maybe 200 tables in a building, right? Now, see, guys, it's not about the question is valid or not valid. It's about whether you're willing to solve that problem, right? They just want to understand whether you're willing to solve that problem. Whatever the problem is given, you're wrong. Definitely, you're wrong. Maybe there was not even 20 tables in that particular building. But when I came up with the answer, they just got the gist. They just got the idea. This is the person that who wants to solve the problems. Okay, we have problems. He'll be going forward. He'll be taking a step forward than other guys who just think that these questions are not valid, right? So keep that in mind. People will usually ask you guess estimates that don't even make sense also, but definitely answer them anyway. If you're wrong, that's fine. We'll talk about that later. But answer every single question that you can. Okay. And at times, when you're even wrong, or maybe you know about things, you can even ask for hints. Hey, I know about this particular Python question that you just asked. Can you give me the hint? Once you got the hint, then go for it, ace it, right? All right. Now, what are the responsibilities when you'll be working as a data analyst? All right, guys. So I have tried to simplify this particular all these things in this particular presentation, right? So that you get it in a very easy way. Okay. So when it comes to the responsibilities, first is the requirement gathering. Okay. Like I've told you, any project that you'll be working on, you'll get the requirements first of all. All right. You will go, you'll talk to the clients, you'll talk to the managers. Hey, what is that you want me to work on? And then trust me, guys, keep a like note of everything. Okay, that is going to be very important when you're working on that particular project. Sometimes what happens, and keep the documentation also. Okay, and this has happened to me multiple times in the beginning of my career that some client told me that, hey, I want this to be done that way. Okay, I did it that way, and maybe after 2 weeks when we had a meeting, he said, no, nobody told you to do it that way, right? Just because I didn't maintain the documentation. So now what I'll usually do when I'll be working on any of the projects, I'll make sure to keep the notes of it, and I'll make sure to send them MOM after that meeting that, hey, these are the things that we talked about, and I think I'll be working on this going forward. And after 2 weeks when we are meeting, definitely I'll be working on those particular pointers, right? So now next week and after 2 weeks or after 2 months, whenever we are meeting, I do have the MOM. They can't even tell me that we didn't tell you. This is the MOM. I have noted everything, right? And you agreed on it. So keep that in mind. Requirement gathering is very important. And then data collection. Okay, you get wherever you get the data from. Okay, it can be from databases, it can be from online sources, it can be from anywhere. But yeah, do not mention in the interviews that it was mostly Excel files. Okay, even if you have worked on Excel files only, but make sure you know you how to get the data from the databases also, right? That should be mentioned for sure. And then EDA, statistics. You can even do the EDA using Python. You can do EDA using any software for that purpose. Maybe in Power BI also you can do some EDA, right? There are some of the tools in Power Query where you can get to know what does the data look like, how many categories are there, what is like the statistics of this particular, what's the mean, median, or something of that sort. And then finally, report building. Okay, when you're building that particular report, I mean, you just have to focus on like who's the end client. Okay? Please make sure when you're building any of the report, don't think that I'll have to design it in such a way. You might go to the internet or you go on anywhere, you'll see those decorative reports. Wow. And you are very impressed. You just think that I'll be developing this kind of a report in my organization. That doesn't happen. Okay, because you'll be given multiple reports if you are putting so much effort in on developing those kind of reports where you are putting at least 2 to 3 days on just designing that report, then the other project will go away, right? So you'll have to be very efficient and very minimalistic, at the same time very elegant with the design. Okay, not just over design it, and at the same time not just put it in such a way that it looks vague and not decent. Okay? And then finally, present insights. Okay, so this is basically the responsibilities that you'll be having. Okay, we're not talking about the tools. I'll just explain that in the detail. Here I have put up project life cycle. Okay, how does a project look like for a data analyst? So requirement gatherings, right? Objectives, you're listing everything here, documentation, taking notes, asking questions, ask every single question that you have, right? The more questions you ask, the more clearer it will be for the requirements for the entire project, and the more easier it will be to work on a project. And then coming to the collection of data, like I've told you, it can come from multiple sources. Here I have noted all of them. It can come from APIs also. Now coming to the EDA, EDA can be done even in the SQL. It can be done any tool that you have. It can be done EDA, right? Error check, missing check, outliers check, or even the pattern check. So you are doing that kind of an EDA for yourself. And trust me, this is not something that you will tell your client that I have done EDA, I have done 50 lines of code. This is for your own understanding, EDA part. Okay, keep that in mind. And then statistics or Python, you're using any of the technologies to or checking the relationships, checking the regression, which is mostly related to machine learning. Then finally building the reports. Okay, keep one thing in mind when you're developing the reports. Let's say, for example, the end user is someone who has never seen Power BI, right? Now you are developing some RCA views, some AI views for him. Do you think it's going to be beneficial for him? He'll tell you at the end of the day, I've seen it, guys. He'll tell you, can you send me this in Excel? Right? You might have seen that meme also. So that means he doesn't want to see your report at that time. Okay. So rather, whenever you come across those kind of scenarios, please keep it very simple. Okay. Maybe a bar chart, a pie chart, that's it. And then mention to him at the end of the day, you have to mention to him, how does it make sense? Okay. What are you trying to portray here? What are you trying to explain to him? How does it make sense for his particular business? And how does it create an impact? Right. At the end of the day, like I've told you, there are people who are data analysts for around 40 years and they're good with Excel only. Okay. That can also happen. That cannot happen in our age because nowadays competition is too much and everybody expects so many tools. But at the same time, keep this in mind. You have to be problem solver, not a coder, not someone who is very good with Python or something, right? If you're solving the problem with the help of Power BI, it's okay. You don't have to use Python. You get my point. You can use any tool, but at the same time, you have to get the solution done. Right? And then present insights the same way. I told you, you have to frame the story. Even what I used to do in my previous organization, so I'll be going through multiple reports. Let's say, for example, I have to develop a sales kind of an email at the end of the week, right? What I'll do, I'll go through shipments report, I'll go through sales report, I'll go through inventory report. Okay, three of the reports I'll go through. Take the screenshots from these reports and then mention the insights that I found for that particular week. Okay, so you have to keep this in mind. At the end of the day, what matters is that how you are presenting your data. Let's say, for example, CEO is out there, right? You cannot be mentioning that, hey, these are four of the reports that I have seen, or maybe you can check. He knows you are working as a data analyst. Why would you waste his time? He doesn't want to go through all the reports. You have to make a concise message to him or send an email to him that these are some of the screenshots that I took, that something has changed from our sales. Please look at that through. Maybe it's a 2 minutes read. That's it. Okay. So keep that in mind, guys. So this is basically the project life cycle. If you understand it, trust me, guys, the reason I have mentioned these particular things, it is just the years of experience that I have put in these slides. It's not something very generic. It's not something that you'll find even in my LinkedIn posts or anywhere. This makes life very easier if you follow any of these things. Okay. Now let's come to the data myths. Okay, there are so many myths around data analysis, or shall I start? What should I do? Let's talk about all those myths. Okay, all right. So what is the first myth? Analysts just make charts. No, like I've told you, if you're good with building charts, I mean, just build some projects and then put it on the internet. You will get lots of likes. But when it comes to the business, you'll have to think in a in a business point of view. Who's the end client? Like I've told you, I given you the example. Is it really worth it? And at the same time, what I'll at times do, if I have developed any of the reports now, I will see whether there is usage of that particular report. Okay, if it's not getting used, definitely there is wrong with the report. People are not using it, they're not finding it useful. Then what I'll do, I'll connect with those particular people who I have built it for. Hey, what do you think? There might be some of the modifications, or maybe your desired modifications that I can work on so that you can use it, because I see you're not using it at all. Okay, so keep that in mind. It's not about building charts, it's about building solutions. Okay, the second myth, AI will replace analysis. No, not as of now. Okay, the one thing that I usually tell people, people will be reaching out to me that, hey, why will I go into data analysis anyway? AI is going to replace, AI is going to build dashboards at the same time. The same thing I tell them. Let's say, for example, I play cricket, right? AI is going to build someone, a robot that can play cover drive like maybe Virat Kohli, straight drive like Sachin Tendulkar, right? They can ball Yorkers like Bumrah. Then why should I even go to play cricket? Right? It's not the time to think about that. Whatever you can do right now, do it. And at the same time, AI is not going to replace analysis. What is it going to? It's going to make your life easier. Let's say, for example, you used to write SQL queries, right? There can be a no-code tool that you just mention in simple English that, hey, I want you to give me the data and join it here and there and give me the, or run it in the database directly. Now your was made easier, but at the same time, rather than doing one project, you'll do three projects in a day or in a week, right? At the same time, definitely AI, like a human has to be there as an analyst, right? I'll give you a very simple example, guys. Recently, what happened? I had to get a refund for one of the orders on Zomato, right? I mean, in the evening at around 12, I was continuously texting them that, hey, where is my order? It's been more than 2 hours. Nobody is reaching out. And then the AI was giving me the responses like, I can't give you the refund, or maybe I can't help you out. Okay, what do you want? And I was pretty much like confused with it. So what we usually do in our company also, whenever there will be a huge issue or some complex issue, then human has to address it. Okay. It AI will give you the generic replies or whatever we are feeding into it with the help of RAG or LLMs that you have talked about. We have developed some of the projects on that. But at the end of the day, there has to be someone who understands the sentiment, who understands the sentiment of the business. Okay. Let's say, for example, you can mention in AI that, hey, can you clean this data set for me? AI will go ahead and delete the null values or do something with it, right? But if you're a business person, you understand that those null values are not actually null values. They are part of the business. They have to be there because you understand the business. AI doesn't, right? So keep that in mind, guys. At the end of the day, jobs are definitely there. Jobs are on the rise. It's just that you have to be good enough with it. Okay. If you're good enough data analyst, trust me, you'll not be jobless. Okay. And then data cleaning is not needed. No. Data cleaning, 80% of the times you'll be cleaning the data. Okay. Whatever that, if the data is dirty, then obviously the insights will also be dirty. Correct. So keep that in mind. You'll always have to clean the data. All right. Degree in, okay, we already had this kind of a question, right? Degree in mathematics, data science is must. No, not really. You can be an art student, but if you have good projects, you have the domain knowledge, and you have the right skills, you will get a job over someone who has PhD degree and doesn't know about data analysis. Okay, or it doesn't have the right skills. All right, complex coding DSA is needed for data analysts? No. DSA is not even required for data scientists in most of the companies I'll see. It's just that some of the product-based companies that I've worked with, they will ask about the DSA, that too very easy one. Okay. For the data analyst though, it's not even required in not even 1% of it. Okay. All right. With data analysis, it's easy and pays in crores or pays in lakhs, whatever you see in on the ads that, yeah, you get into it, you get into the prompt engineering. There is this one guy that I see very often. Hey, get this course for 9 rupees and you will get 50 crore of salaries. That is not practical, guys. Okay. You'll have to be good. You'll have to know about skills. things keep changing. You'll have to be very flexible and learn about technologies in order to get paid well. Definitely, data analyst is going to be paid well, or data scientist you can move into later on. But for that, you'll have to be good. Okay, it's just not that you have completed the course and you'll get 50 lakhs. That is not going to happen. All right, cool. And then very common confusions I have taken care of here. Okay, who should go for the internships? All right, ideal for freshers or individuals with 0 to 1 years of experience looking to gain hands-on exposure. What do I mean by this? Okay, I've seen people with 5 years of experience, non-technical also. They are thinking of, hey, I'll go for internship into data science or I'll go for something else. No, apply for jobs right away. Okay, if you know the skills, mention at least you have 1 year of experience. Maybe you can mention I used Excel in the previous organization. That adds up 1 year of experience for me. But do not apply for internships. Those are not for you. Okay, those are for the freshers or maybe people with 1 year of experience who just want to get more skills out of it, right? But if you have the experience, don't waste your time. Who should apply for jobs as a fresher? 0 to 1 year of experience. If you have 10 plus or 5 plus years of experience and then you're applying for a fresher job, it is highly impractical. You're not going to be shortlisted in the first place. Okay, I'll explain to you. I have a very important slide coming up that will explain lots of things. Who should apply as experience in? Okay, people with 4 to 10 plus years of experience into non-technical roles or any roles they have, mention at least 1 year of experience that you had, 1 to 3 years of experience in some of the projects that you did in the previous organization. Please do not think that you'll be having 10 plus years of experience into non-technical and all of a sudden you are going there and then mentioning that I just have decided today that I just want to transition and I want to be shortlisted. You'll not be. Okay, and again, like I've told you, I'll be taking care of that particular slide. All right, can professionals with 10 years of experience apply as freshers? Not advisable. Want to know why? Let's see why not. Okay, see guys, this is very kind of an easy way to make you understand why exactly you should not be applying for as a fresher to the experience in jobs. Okay, let's take a scenario. Okay, all right. Before that, I made the best resume, applied to 500 plus jobs, even asked for referrals, but no response. This is usually what I'll get, right? Even in my LinkedIn also. But why is it happening, right? Let's say, for example, you are a fresher, right? 4 to 10 plus years of experience you have, right? You have spent around 3 to 6 months on this particular course, or you have learned it for around a year. Now, the current salary, you already have around 4 to 10 years of experience. Your current salary might be 8 to 10 lakhs from your previous job that you had. Let's say customer support manager or some other manager, business manager you were. Now you are expecting 15 lakhs. All right. Now at the same time, there's a junior who just came out of the college or maybe just had the same degree as you or same course as yours, and their current salary is around 0 to 3 lakhs, right? They can be paid 3 to 6 lakhs. Now at the same time, check this, right? Now the job description is for a data analyst. Experience can be 0 to, let's say, for example, 4 years. Now the budget is only 7 LPA, right? Do you think this guy is gonna be shortlisted for this particular role, 0 to 1 year of experience? Because see, even if I hire this particular senior, he's not gonna be very happy with this role. Because usually, why do we want to transition? First, okay, there's a growth. Second, definitely salary is the part of it. I want to be paid well. But let's say, for example, in previous organizations, you were paid 8 to 15 lakhs. Here, I'm paying only 7 lakhs. You're not going to be very happy with it, right? You'll not even take that offer. Expectations 15 plus LPA. So that is probably the reason, guys, I'm saying these fresher roles are for the freshers. Okay, 0 to 1 years of experience, they can definitely go ahead and apply for that. Okay, but when it comes to the seniors, mention some experience in your resume. Okay, mention something in your resume that at least I have worked on some of the Power BI previously. Also, I it's okay. You can mention that my designation is customer support engineer or maybe some customer HR also. But in my previous organization, I was exposed to some of the Power BI reports, some of the Excel reports, some of the Python coding that adds to the experience of mine. Okay? That increase your chances exponentially rather than you going this. If you are going like this, then 5% chances only. That too, if you have some friend in that particular company that can give you the chance, right? Otherwise, no. I hope it was clear, right? I've tried to make it very clear. So guys, I think we are done with most of the things. Yeah. If you have any questions, anything, let's take up the questions. We have around 15 to 20 minutes. Any question that you have for me, I'm happy to answer all the questions. Yeah, can you hear me?
Guys, any questions for Taj? You can even chat. Okay, just send one
Yeah,
chat.
you can put it in chat and you can reiterate it for me. That is, trust me, guys, you have to speak up when it comes to the job, right? At least something. So, do we have any questions? I will give some time. It's okay. You can write it down. All right. Any queries that you have related, I do have the experience to answer any of the questions that you have. So yeah, if you want to take this opportunity, you can definitely ask.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello, sir.
Hey. Hi.
Hello, sir. I have completed my graduation in
Hmm.
BCom program and then
Hmm.
completed our training as
Hmm.
a as an trainee accountant. But now I am changing field to become a data scientist. I will
Hmm.
consider it as a fresher. So, sir,
Hmm.
how can I showcase my accounting experience in this new field, especially
Hmm.
since my graduation was completed in 2023?
Okay. Cool. See, at the same time, see what I'll say. When it comes to the accounting, maybe you're dealing with the numbers also. Okay, you can mention that while I was going through the course or while I completed any of the course, I built some of the solutions. You get my point. It can do not mention it like if you're thinking that you'll be mentioning the experience like okay, I built some of the dashboards in Kaggle or in the GitHub. That's not experience. That is just the learning experience that you have. But you have to mention, if you have some years of experience and you want to mention some of the experience, mention that okay, I've worked on some of the things in my previous organization. Okay, even if I give you one example, that will be pretty good for you guys. So there was this one mentee of mine, okay, who has transitioned. So yeah, so this is the one mentee of mine, right? I'm just giving this example, right, that you can follow. So maybe previously she had experience in the marketing, okay, but when it comes to the resume of her, so you can see, okay, maybe the resume is not working, but if you see from the profile of her, we changed it somewhat, or maybe we added some of the things. No, is she changing? Is she mentioning here that she was previously analytics manager? No, nothing. Same in your case, you can mention that you were the accountant or you were working into any field. It can be even HR. That is totally fine. But mention some of the things from the previous organization. You can even mention that I was very good with maybe accountancy or something. But at the same time, I built some of the projects. Whatever the projects, let's say for example, you're doing some analysis on products, you're doing some of the dashboards you have built for the accountancy, right? Or maybe you have built some of the machine learning solution for that accountancy. You can mention that as a real-time project. Okay, but mention it that you have done it in the previous organization. Not many people will tell you that, but I'm just giving you this. It is definitely going to help. Okay, so keep that in mind. So this is basically how this person was able to transition. Also, see, if you're seeing some of the things that she mentioned about customer churn, although she was not, I mean, she knows about it. She has a very good profile even on the GitHub also. But yeah, after mentioning some of the things, then definitely you're going to be considered. Okay, but you have to mention something. It cannot be like I was good with the marketing. Now I just want to get into data analytics all of a sudden and I want 15 lakh salary. That's not going to happen. I hope that was I was able to answer your question. Yeah. Do you have any other
Thank you.
questions? Yeah. Welcome. Okay. Wait a second. Right. Yeah. Any other questions? Anything in the chats? Yeah. Okay. There are some texts that we have. Jasmine is writing something. Bring about the domain selection process. Okay. Just a second. Absolutely. So see, when it comes to the domain or choosing a domain, what I'll suggest, um, have projects from multiple domains. Okay, you can have a healthcare domain project, you can have an HR analytics project, you can have a customer support project, right? Three of the projects are in your resume. Now let's see, now how is that going to help? If somebody needs from HR, your resume is going to be shortlisted. Somebody wants from healthcare, your resume is going to be shortlisted. Now somebody needs from sales, your resume is going to be shortlisted. So I'll usually tell this to my mentees also. Make sure you have the projects from multiple domains. Okay, don't stick to one. Once you have projects from multiple domains, people will reach out to you, and then you get to decide which company you want to go for based on that. Okay. Hope I was able to answer your question, Jasmine. So any other? Yeah, great. You're welcome. Any other questions, guys? We'll just give you 5 minutes more to write down questions. It was great connecting with you guys. I'd like to see you be successful in this particular field. And trust me, guys, whatever the tips and tricks I have given you, it is based on the experience that I have got. Okay. 7 years of experience I have put it, like I've told you in this particular presentation. And if you follow this, trust me, you're going to be successful and it's going to be pretty easy for you to get the job. All right. So that is pretty much it from my side. So if you have anything to add, I'll just stop presenting.